Hey friends, just do it. Dream it, then do it. How you doing today? I'm in the cockpit of my 747. And welcome. You know, I just gave up I pooped or get off the pot. I pooped. I shat out the doubt. And here I am, finally. Now, as my singing course, I have to just get it out. There's no other choice, basically. In this course, you're going to find some great benefits and skills. And so, without further ado, I'm not going to keep going because this is unscripted, usually a live. There's no script, there's no teleprompter, so I don't want to like stumble my words. This is the introductory course, and as a basic introduction, it starts with foundation, and with foundation begins body and mind connection, and also with body and mind connection it comes health, and with that you know, the voice is our instrument. How are you guys doing on a Saturday, by the way? This is cool. I'll just chill. You know, got my Rolling Stone shirt and my little bandana. But, and trust me, I am not serious. I mean, I can try to be serious, but I'm a clown. You know, I'm a goofball a lot. So that's me. So, welcome. Now, with the body and mind connection, and as vocalists, we need to take care of our healths, right? And I say that with a sinus, not a sinus issue, but I've had a little sinus, you know, it's been dry around here in Southern California. So, one remedy to correct that, to rectify that is, I'm going to present this as very salient information for you guys. It's called a sinus rinse. Huh? What the? Huh? A what? Yes, my friends. With a syringe. Nope, no. Don't go there. It's nothing illegal or bad about this. This is a medical syringe without a needle, and warm water. Basic foundation. You need to rinse that. You need to do what's called a sinus rinse with sea salt, warm water, and a syringe. This is actually a neti pot too, if you guys have heard of that. A neti pot, where you the device where you tip it up, and that warm water, that cleansing water, goes through the sinus cavity, back down by the ear canal, and it cleans out the sinuses. So what I like to do, this is warm. So what I like to do is just during this tutorial for education purposes, you demonstrate. I mean, you know, you can do it in a syringe if you have one, a medical sterile syringe. Or the neti pot is recommended. Myself, I like to do these because it gets right in your nose, and what you're going to do, you just tip back and you hold you count your lucky stars that you hold your head back and you put it in the nostril like this. You squeeze a little bit. Ah. You might cry or gag, but please try to remain relaxed while it's going down the canal. You can't freak out about it, because once you do this, it really cleanses, and sea salt is an antiseptic. So we'll do the other side. Just remain calm. Yeah, you just put warm sea salt water in your sinuses. You have to blow it, that's fine. You get those cruddies out. Get those little boogies. And so I don't have a Kleenex. I don't have to blow my nose right now. But you can do that a couple times. And it's awesome. It's amazing. That's why, the neti pot was invented. I'm sure this goes back many, many years ago. If not decades. The ancient divinity, humans or whatever, ancient divinity allowed us to know things for our body, right? So, with that being said, little trips of the trade. I did a short on gargling, and so this is going to be very basic, and this is a fundamental course because I want this to be global, obviously, and those who have not even heard of this or acknowledge this can help and benefit you and solve your problem if you're suffering from sinus infection. You're going to get into some weirdness with myself because through the years I've discovered tried and true unconventional things that really help. They're not necessarily unconventional, they're just kind of forgotten about. Things like, hot tea. I'll do a short on that in a minute, but just for this one, because I'm just focusing on our sinuses. And while I learn a software, I thought that, since this is just live streaming, I'm going to do a warm-up. And, this is just a warm-up, but it is legitimate and academic fundamental warm-up. And I recommend a vocal instructor. His name is Jeff Rolka. And then Jeff, if you're watching this too, you're honored, my friend. I'm humble before thee. I've been following Mr. Rolka here for at least, I'd say 3 years. So go ahead and check him out, and I'll plug him in this one. It's Jeff Rolka, R-O-L-K-A, and phenomenal musical genius that does the fundamental of the voice in an academic and solid way. So in the voices from bass to tenor to alto to soprano. I mean, there's the ones in between there, like mezzo, coloratura is high, and little by little, we'll discover that. We're just kind of taking it little baby steps, and I want this to be interactive and kind of fun and not really conventional. So, with that being said, foundation. That means you have to get up on stage or digital platform now, maybe in the metaverse, perhaps. Speakers, you have to be lubricated. You've got to be dry. You can't be dry and hoarse and coughing. If you're going to drink Jack Daniels or a martini, you only have one. I need my sound effects, but no, the thing is, when it's game time, it's game time. When it's showtime, it's showtime. And, just like an athlete, a gymnast, they're not going to ride a dirt bike 100 miles an hour in the sand dunes or wherever the day before the show, right? So when it's time to sing, when it's really time, when practicing or whatever, it's good to do this too. But when it's time, you have to be 170 to 1,000%, and that includes, if you want to take these notes down, that includes, and hopefully this is going out there. I would love to. If you're from India, I hope there's captions. India, Greece, Rome, France, whatever, Japan, China. Because we're a global society, and it just, I feel like I would like to reach that, So, come dialed in. rinse your sinuses if they're clogged. We have other special teas and herbs to break up the sinus yuckies later when we talk about when we're really sick. But for generalization, for lubrication, this is just the beginning. Gargling and a saline solution rinse is probably in my opinion, very, very healthy, a very beneficial action you can do for the singing apparatus here. So, and the levels of the voice come in. Well, I should say they're structured and analyzed in their anatomical formed way. I say that meaning, okay, this is an arm, okay, and this is a wrist, so, and this is a leg, and this is a spine. So with that being said, I wonder if I could turn that thing on. With that being said, we have bass, the vocal structure that's very, very low and very, very low, and we'll get into the anatomy and the actual mapping where that is on the range of the keyboard. And so there's bass, and in a male. There's bass, there's tenor, and females too can have a very low alto to tenor. So I mean, it's kind of mixed together. It can be, you've got different voices who are that. Nina Simone is one that sings really low for a female voice, really low. I would even say that probably be like a tenor range or like a low tenor at times. So, you got like your alto, your sopranos, the really high. When you hear the really high range, that's considered formulated in a soprano. And this is kind of an interesting. This will be another topic, but there's what's called the castratis. Have you heard of that? That's an interesting thing because throughout tradition, vocal styles and ranges have always been very revered, and just like our sports, if you're Aaron Rodgers or whoever, you got to keep Aaron Rodgers. Just like this example is, vocal ranges and styles is the castratis were boys, Italiano, and before they started puberty, and everything is just a topic in itself, but this is kind of an icebreaker intro on vocal health and the foundation, fundamentals, body, mind, health. Got to happen. You got to show up. But before they started puberty, the voice was a lot higher, I'm sure. And how when you're when you're in high school, and people laugh what the, you're kind of like pubescent. You might, the voice is down, but. The voice deepens and it matures once it gets to the stage of puberty. So on males, before that deepening, that what would it be, the maturation, before the voice would get to that point, oh no. That's why they call it the castratis, because they were really, and maybe I can collaborate with Jeff on providing you some of that content, because it's really an eerie kind of the castrati is, it's hard to describe because it's a young boy just before puberty, but with without the production of male hormone and before that puberty gene. So it's to keep that range, keep that light high range for them, because obviously the male's voice deepens, and so with that being said, the ranges can vary, and there's all different kinds. And what are you, I wonder? Singers out there that might be catching an earful, and I just started this, so this isn't wildfire or viral or anything, but most vocalists who are either famous or not have had some training. Most of them have, and there's just no way that people have to work for it. And any type of, I don't know, that's a good point though. There are a few, I'm sure, that just didn't, and I was one of those too. But let's just say, since I'm in the contemporary genre of rock and metal and soul and R&B, and I love classical and opera. I mean, it is just, it's like going to the gym. You're working out, you're building those biceps, putting in the time. Well, vocal pattern is the same way, and when you do classical training, it's the same way. The Alvin Ailey dance troupe, they all studied ballet and jazz, and to produce this out of the box beautiful art form. And so 17 minutes, but anyways, there's a lot of rock singers that didn't, and it just party hard and just went for it and stuff, like David Lee Roth, but they all have their different attributes that really set them apart. There's the David Lee Roth, the Sammy Hagar thing. Sammy Hagar is a better vocalist, but David Lee Roth's a better performer, back in the day. So it's like most of them do. I mean, I can think of one like Bruce Dickinson, trained, they all have, and it makes them a stronger singer, and it'll make you a stronger singer. It'll protect the voice. It'll keep it, you won't blow it. Even when you're singing heavy, even if you're singing heavy, the all your your Corey Taylors, your oh gosh, who else? It'll come to me, but Philip Anselmo, no. Rob Halford's never. That was one thing. He's never abused his voice. Nobody's perfect, but that's one thing. Is like Ronnie James Dio. They all revered their voice as an instrument, so they didn't fully abuse it. But where am I going with this? It's interesting though. Because the reason why I had to pause is because my computer shut down. But yeah, like when vocalists are just go for it, like in the rough, there's a few out there that haven't trained, that have just kind of had that style that maintain. But most of them have trained and somehow. So with that being said, I don't mean for this to be like a ramble on session, but so that's like the beginning, the intro of kind of a vocal health. You show up, besides just winging it, you have to be trained. Even death metal and growling and stuff, there is a technique behind it that and even like your heavy singers will have lessons on the road, and so there's a technique in its maintenance. So today's was sinus, and just overall just discussion about health, and bring it to the introduction, because before you can swim, you got to learn how to paddle, right? So let this be that. Sinuses, sea salt, saline rinse, warm water works miracles. And coming up soon, let me do another one on this, same way, maybe a little shorter, just a video, not necessarily a stream, and I'll show you some different elements, whether in food, drinks, salt elements that are really, really harmonious, and they keep your voice supple and singing like a charm. Alright, so let me just go ahead and step on out of this live stream. But yeah, I mean, this is been brought to you by Mantis Studio. Hope you guys are well. Take it easy, okay? We'll see you around. I'm peacing out. Although I don't know how to quite yet, because this is Prism Live Studio. Prism Live at 5, and let's go and end it. Different one.